Hello, everyone. My name is Joris Peels, and this is another episode of 3D Printing News Unpeeled. Thanks to 3dprint.com. So, first on our news roundup is FluidForm. And FluidForm is making some real headway in cardiac tissue. The company that is commercializing a fresh-based kind of deposition into hydrogel based technology is not going straight for the jugular. It is not going straight to commercializing tissue or working on tissue exclusively. What it's doing is just trying to really expand its use in drug discovery. It's got its cardiac drug discovery platform, CDDP. So that's a toxicology and pharmacology platform. The idea is that the tissue made using fresh in that platform could conform to the tissue, the human tissue. It's more available than human tissue. It's cheaper than human tissue, more compliant or nearer to human tissue than animal tissue, cheaper, faster to use, and it could lead to faster, more effective, and also cheaper drug discovery. Drug discovery is, of course, a gigantic market. Drug companies are always looking for these billion-dollar unicorns, these diseases where they can have a certain molecule that has a positive effect on reducing that disease, and then they can patent that molecule. They're looking for that particular kind of unicorn. And in order to do that, they have to test a lot of drugs, they have to test a lot of pharmacological effects, they have to test toxicity and stuff like this. And any way they can make this cheaper or speed this up or mechanize this in a kind of, for them, effective way will have a huge financial impact. So FluidForm is focusing on this. They did a project together with Merck Co. And they found that the cells performed very, very well, and they performed like or very much like human cells. They also say that existing in vitro models, is a quote, existing in vitro models have not provided the information needed to identify the best drug candidates for human disease, and animal models fail to capture the physiology of the human heart. FluidForm's model is the first tool to give actionable, translationally and relevant signals at the critical juncture of lead selection and lead optimization. So right where it matters for a drug company, FluidForm is going to introduce its products and get them to use it. Screening for drug effects, side effects, efficacy, that kind of thing. So, brilliant opportunity for fresh, brilliant opportunity to sustain the business with some very, very wealthy clients that will spend a god-awful amount of money with them if this is in any way, shape, or form effective. So a great, we know that these bioprinting companies are going to need to, work maybe 15 or 30 years on commercializing the tissue and then commercializing the product. So, it makes sense to have a really lucrative market like this on hand. The next thing is probably going to create its very own really lucrative market. This is the ultra-fast 3D nanofabrication via digital holography. This is a research paper of Wenqi Ouyang and Zai Zhu and lots of other people looking at two-photon lithography, which we've seen before, but they've combined this with 2,000 individually programmable lasers that work at a 90 nanometer resolution and can move at speeds of 2 million voxels per second. So it's a multi-focus holographic two-photon lithography approach. Much, much faster, potentially much more accurate than other technologies with incredibly high resolution. The team says they can print a micro gear in 290 milliseconds. They hope to use these things for micro machines, electronics, photonics, this kind of thing. And this could be kind of a more scalable, bridgeable technology that's in between nano fabrication and kind of like centimeter scale things to make a lot of devices in that kind of scale. It's the yield on this could be absolutely astounding, and this is a really, really big break forward in pretty darn interesting technology that really makes two-photon lithography holographic or multi-focus and much more productive as it was before. So that's a really, really great development. And we'll see where it goes. Of course, we don't know how long it will take them to commercialize this, if they'll ever successfully commercialize it, how well it'll work then for what kind of objects, to what size, etc., what materials. So it'll take us a while, but still, this is a very promising thing indeed. The next thing is from Daimler Trucks. So Daimler Trucks, we know already, is a really large truck company, one of the largest truck and bus manufacturers in the world. and it has quite some digital ambitions. And it's going to be doing mm, some 3D printing, MRO, repair, spare parts kind of stuff as well. So we've been following the company because of this. Now, they've just recently signed up to replace their PLM software, the product lifecycle management software, the software that's supposed to keep track of all their parts and all of the the BOM, or the list of all of the parts that they have and all the materials they need, and throughout all the versions of the trucks and all the updates of those trucks, it's supposed to keep track of all that information, so that every engineer in Siemens, or every engineer working on that truck who has access to that information, can in a really intuitive, hopefully, way understand what's going on, what's where, and what parts are where. Um, as cars get dragged into producing more and more models, and that are around for less amount of time, and that then have to be updated or broken down more often. You know, and as the truck market itself is becoming much more competitive, it used to be kind of like there was a couple of big companies that all kind of competed to each other, but now you've got an influx of Chinese companies that are biting at the heels of a lot of the more established, often European or American firms in this area. At the same time, there's the looming thing for electrification. Is electrification going to play a role for trucks? Only for small ones, only for buses in cities. I definitely think it's going to play a role for buses in cities. But how about long range trucks? Maybe, they need to look at hydrogen. So it's a really, from an engineering standpoint, very interesting time to be at a truck company. So now, anyway, they've opted to go for Teamcenter, which is Siemens's kind of NX platform PLM product, and they've now signed a deal with them. Now, you may not think that's a big deal, but I wanted to point this out. Of course, if you're in CAD land, this kind of thing is a big deal, because if you opt for a single package like a tier or something like Boeing has at one point, you're likely to never ever leave it. And if you want to leave that design software package, it's an incredible nightmare. It might actually cost you, if you're a large company like this, it may cost you tens of or millions or billions to leave as a CAD package. So this choice is really important. Now, once you are stuck with a particular CAD package, you're essentially stuck with them for life, for all intents and purposes. I think Hyundai Kia or something changed CAD software to Siemens from something else, I think last year, but that kind of thing really rarely happens. Typically you have a CAD software, and then you and your entire supply ecosystem, everyone in your tier 1, 3, whatever, everyone who works for you, who works for you, is stuck with that CAD package as well. So you're kind of forever partners, right? And then you opt for more extensions, and these kind of extensions for these kind of size businesses can be very, very expensive deals, multi-million-dollar deals. So any movement here, we'll see a huge influx of money into this CAD software and the digital automation and the 3D printing part of Siemens that manages this kind of thing. So we should be following this a little bit closely. We should be seeing which one of these CAD packages are ascendant, not just because we may want to use them, but also to see which players are more and more relevant. And also to see that if then, the Siemens kind of Daimler Trucks combo would be one to approach together with a kind of software / 3D printing offering to work with both of them. Like, for example, if you're if you're now, for example, a company that wants to help, like Caster, 3D Mind, whatever, any of these guys that want to help identify 3D printed parts, and you want to work with Daimler Trucks, then it would really help you if you could work together with Siemens Teamcenter, right? So we have to be more cognizant of these alliances and these long-term partnerships, and more cognizant of, well, maybe in the truck world, now all of a sudden it makes more sense to build an extension for NX than anything else, or for Teamcenter. And we must realize, of course, just how powerful this is going to make the company Siemens or at least a digital design portion of Siemens in the 3D printing business. So that's good to know. My name is Joris Peels. I hope you enjoyed this and found this valuable, and have a great day. This was another edition of 3D Printing News Unpeeled. Thank you.